Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back again. And I wanted to hold up this book right here because the last video on my channel I read this book and I only read a few pages, but I ended up finishing it and I do recommend it. It's very easy. The words are big and the pages are few. It's a banger book. I don't know why I was turned off of it by someone when I was a youngin. But today I'm posting a video about a small portfolio that I'm putting together, and I'll be building over the next 6 to 8 months, maybe longer. Let me count the months. Oh shit! I'll be building it over the next 6 months. So we have 6 months to build this portfolio into a sum of money that I will use to travel to Indonesia. I do see a little something, maybe a smudge. Oh well. I also will be investing into Bitcoin. That won't be shown in this portfolio, but there'll be some Bitcoin investment going on simultaneously. Let's take a look at what I'm investing in right now and why. Over the period of these videos, I might explain some of my investing philosophy, but right now, I don't feel like it. I made another video like 30 minutes ago and I didn't record the audio, so I just felt not motivated. But what we have now is decent. We're gonna go ahead and just open up some charts, I guess. And this is the spot. This is the S&P 500. We had a little pullback and went straight the fuck up. I wanted to be investing in it down here, but I really wasn't making money, and I didn't really. It doesn't really matter. What I did do though in the meantime was I did take a trade on Microsoft because Microsoft is like, while the market has recovered, Microsoft has kind of not recovered. It was $500 and now it's only $400. I mean, that's kind of worth buying, worth thinking about. I mean, whatever. We're not interested in it. It's a little too expensive for the portfolio, anyways. Considering our portfolio here is where are we at? Is only worth about, let's see, $560. It's gone up a bit this week. It was like $300 before I started making these videos, but we had some good trades, and now we are where we are. I didn't know I had this wolf stock. I didn't realize that I had this in here. Let's check it out. I always zoom way out. It's fine that the stock's been consolidating in this range for a long time. So nothing's really changed with the Petco company. And I mean, as long as it stays above like this low area where it is, I don't know what my price average is here on it. It looks like we're in $8 at $2.90 a share, and we're in the hole about $1. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, we're gonna keep it small, and we'll trickle in those small bits, because if Petco does seem to like find some momentum or like find a new market share or something, there's like, it seems like there's a lot of potential here. However, the company IPO'd. Like, when did the company IPO? I don't know if I'm seeing this correctly. It looks like they IPO'd in 2021. It maybe is a sector of the business that is like related to health, animal health. Either way, it's consolidating in a line, and that's not too bad. So, anyways, back to the tabs here. Of course, we got GameStop in here a little bit. I'm green on the position, so I don't really have a reason to sell. And the same thing is kind of going on with GameStop here, where it's like not going any lower. So I don't really have a reason to sell it. I can continue to like save money in this median, if you will, because it's not really hurting me. Hims maybe not is not so much that way. Because Hims is super volatile considering these spikes here. We do have one share of Hims in the account, but really we're also investing in the Indonesia energy, oil because I think it's interesting that one, it had a huge random spike that was probably news related back in 2022. That if I could be a part of that, would be cool. But more locally, considering we're on a 6 month time frame, uh, there seems to be spikes every once in a while, every 6 months or so. So maybe while we're here, we can experience one of those spikes. And if not, like I said, if not, we kind of have a threshold built here on these lows at 250. So if we start to see it trickle below 250, we won't be at an absolute loss. We'll lose 30% on the position that we are not in too much for. We're in $30. We're risking essentially $10 to hold this, or 30% of the position, with the potential to make 100. I mean, to me, it's not terrible, but we're gonna monitor it. We have knock here that is uh, doing something that I think is super interesting. If we do the max available time frame and zoom way out, like way the fuck out, ignore my lines. Let's change this to a month. So we can see this is the .com bubble where we had a huge pump on this thing. Like the market cap on this thing was insane for the year. The year 2000, it's up here at $57, $60 and just comes down and capitulates to where it seems to be stable at 16 and has a run up in 2008, which I don't know if the 2008 housing crisis was more than just a housing crisis, if there was like some kind of weird leverage in tech that needed to decompress, because I don't know why 2008 was the catalyst that caused Nokia to be so traded so. I mean, it was just looked over, like overlooked. I feel like. I mean, no one. They obviously have infrastructure. They obviously have a solid brand foundation. They made the Nokia brick phone that was indestructible. Some of you guys might not remember that, but I do. When I was a kid, those Nokia phones, you could chunk them around and they were pretty solid. And they could come up with a fucking scooter and people would buy it, considering Nokia is a household name and they've held tried and true. So anyways, I'm going to make myself small and go back onto this chart here where we see this month, it's just kind of where it has been trading inside of. It broke out of this month in a pretty serious way. And if we zoom more into like a 4 hour chart, we can see that this thing is just kind of chopping up and continuing to get bought up day by day, gaining in price. And it doesn't look out of control when you're here on the short term. But if you zoom out to a weekly chart, like the thing looks like it's actually going parabolic. It almost looks like a short squeeze. But I do know that there's some news related to Nvidia and Nokia potentially participating in more telecom expansion related to data centers, blah, blah, blah. It's all AI shit that doesn't really have anything to do with the human fundamentals. I feel like, there are things like agriculture and other stuff that's essentially more valuable, but in this current market, the AI is getting a lot of attention. So that's where you got to go where the money's on. I mean, that's just the way it moves. But as you start to zoom in, you start to see that this thing is just chugging away. So we've kind of leveraged ourselves in the portfolio for this. We've taken a call for July, expecting like, hey, in July, this thing could be worth $16 in July, and we're willing to put our money on it. And we can zoom out to like a 20-year time frame again and put our line at that $20. Now, I think we might experience risk at 16. Wait, do we have a $20 call or we have a $16 call? So I don't know why I was thinking 20. I see here where it's actually chopped around in 2008, in 2009, 2010. And this is a 2-year period that it traded with a $16 high. And I think with the momentum that we're seeing now, there's a chance that this call option could reach the money. And if it does exceed the money, it becomes intrinsic and it could be worth a lot. So we do have a time frame. We are sitting in July as our time frame, but considering we don't have a lot of implied volatility here, it's kind of creeping up, and I'm sure it'll creep up more tomorrow. We can grab some of these, we could grab a leap for next year maybe, and just it would be a significant chunk of the portfolio. We're not really there yet as far as portfolio value. Like I said, we're only at $500 portfolio value, and we have 150 available to spend. Um, so we have quite a bit of it invested. We have, but we still have a little bit of cash in the account, so that way we can execute trades. Um, like for this, for example, I don't know if I want to go as far out as $25 on next year. I would like to stay closer to the money, like where, that same time horizon or that same price horizon that we saw before, $16, $18. Maybe we grab a. I like the number 17. These are new contracts. They were not for sale on the market that long ago. But yeah, they're not. They don't have much volume yet here on the. You guys can't see this. Let me move over. So like sometimes with contracts that have good history, um, you can see like the past here with it, but these are new contracts. They just came out, and I don't know why they're not juiced up with IV. I mean, 'cause it seems like you're getting it for a pretty good price, is what I'm trying to say by that. But, yeah, I'm not sure. So I'll elaborate on this further, and we'll maybe compare it to some other stocks. Like if we wanted to look at a Microsoft leap, like something like that on Microsoft, and you can scroll down here to like March of 27, and we send this over to our green cell. Like you can see here that there's like some weekly price history with these things, meaning there's a lot of money. There's money, foundational money that can keep this thing stable or move it depending on where it's allocated and how it's allocated. So those are like new contracts. Who knows what can happen with this knock stock? But inside of our account, we are green on our shares, and we are green on our contract by a few percent. I can't show it to you really clean on here, like on a mobile view, but I maybe will. I'll get to it one day. Anyways, knock is looking pretty cool, man. Let's close out with this weekly chart on here. I'm sure we could see a pullback. I mean, if you want to imagine things coming up, you have to imagine things coming down. So I do see potential pullbacks to these areas. People getting trapped up here in these high moments, but it all looks pretty strong. The way that it kind of consolidates overnight and chugs up for the next move. At one point, does this thing kind of become something that needs to be managed or controlled? Who knows if it will? But that's our portfolio. I'll let you guys know what goes on if there's any day trades that we might be looking at, which I do. I kind of do that in the morning and at random times of the day. But I might have some trade thesis for you guys. Like we do have Roblox, for example, one that I'd like to be bullish on, but we're gonna have to see what happens here. Ultimately, I was kind of looking at the stock to pull back into this $50 range where it was consolidating, but the earnings kind of pushed it down below my green buy area. So we might be waiting for this thing to come down to $30 or so before we mess with it. But this might be an example of something we can take a day trade on with something like an options contract. They are pretty damn pricey though, I must say. I mean, look at the implied volatility on these ones. They've already expired, but once that kind of cools off, they should get a little bit cheaper, and we should be able to trade this. Hopefully, I didn't realize that Roblox was going to be such an expensive stock to trade on options, but we can always take a look at the mess of it. Here's a little bit of Tesla. This is way too much technical analysis on this chart, but we could clean it up and find some stuff in here, maybe potentially. Anyways, I think that's it for the video. Peace. We'll update you next week with what kind of positions we make and where the account is at. And if I do make any trades, maybe I'll try to record it, but I'm not sure. And nothing's really jumping out at me right now. And on the good trades, I'm seeing stuff a few days before. So I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching my portfolio challenge. I hope maybe you got an idea, got some interest. If you don't know anything about this, kind of stuff. If you do, hopefully it was valuable, or you can call me stupid. But anyways, peace. Thanks.